Hi, everybody. My name is Rita Crompton. I am also known as the Inventor Lady. How are you today? It's one of those comments I hear all the time about, well, it's like my baby. My invention is like my child. I just really have to protect it and hang on to it. Yes, and a good invention is like a child. I get it. Believe me. I used to write murder mysteries. A lot of you probably don't know that about me. I wrote murder mysteries, had 3 of them. When it got to the point of saying the end, it was like grieving for all of the characters that we were no longer going to get to talk about. So I understand. All right. But a good invention is like a child. You conceive it, you nurture it, it sucks you dry, and you have to get to the point of throwing it out. And a good product's the same way. You conceive it, you nurture it, you protect it, and at a certain point, it's got to grow up and start standing on its own. So let's talk about some of those phases. Okay. So the first one that I hear frequently is that somebody's filed a provisional patent application and then they're told they still need to get a non-disclosure signed. No, find a new attorney. If that attorney is that worried about the kind of work they did, then find a new attorney. At that point, it's got to start growing up. You can't go to a trade show and have everybody who sees it sign a non-disclosure. You can't build a website and have everybody who looks at your website sign a non-disclosure. Come on, get real. All right. So in the beginning, you do use a non-disclosure non-compete. A non-disclosure is not enough. That non-disclosure says, not only will I not tell anybody, but I will not compete against you. That's really important. I give these away for free. So Rita at inventorlady.com. If you want one, I am more than happy to send you one. When you're hiring a service provider, a work for hire agreement is another really good idea. It puts down in their terms. You can't read their mind and they can't read yours. If you say, well, how long will it take? And they say, oh, not too long. Well, what does that really mean? In the Midwest, when we say it's down the road a piece is in everybody's own mind, how far that is. Down by the old oak tree. Well, does that mean next week or next month? When you're talking about, it won't take too long. In a work for hire agreement, you put down dates, so expectations are clearly laid out. And that's what you want. You want to be able to say, I need this by the next trade show. Well, when is that? So again, service providers can't read your mind. But more importantly, in that work for hire agreement, is your claim to whatever is done, because you're paying to have it done. I give these away for free. All you have to do is email me and say, really want that work for hire agreement. Okay. So then the provisional patent application is probably the first thing that you're going to file that really is allowing you now to get it out there. Figure you're sending it off to college. So when you file it, a good utility filing is going to be somewhere between 30 and 40 hours. The big variable there is the attorney rate, the hourly rate. The attorneys I work with are about $210 an hour. You can get up to $600 an hour real fast. Controlling that process is also really important. But just for our conversation here, you can figure somewhere around $8,000, give or take a little bit, depending on the industry and how complicated it is. A good provisional patent application is the front half. It is not a template that you fill in. Legally, you could write it out on a piece of toilet paper or a paper towel and send it in. And as long as all the parts are there, nobody cares until you end up in court. All right. And if you've got to defend your filing date, by golly, all the parts had better be there and it better be correct. So what we look at is the provisional patent application is usually the front half of the utility filing. It is going to be the first 15 to 20 hours. All right. And it's going to have the drawings. It's going to have some claims. It's going to have all the descriptions in it. All right. So if you add things, if you're still in the development stage, you may end up filing a new provisional. All right. That's life. You're putting all of your financial eggs into this basket. If you're using Archimedes' offspring as your funding mechanism, we're putting all of our eggs into your basket. So we're going to make sure that you do it right. But when you, the inventor, you're calling the shots on that, these are some really important steps. I saw a post today on Facebook that said, if you've licensed it, should you still file a provisional patent application? You should have filed the provisional before you tried to license it. All right. They've got people working on their side. They file first. They own it. You have given away all your leverage. If you're going to protect this invention as a child, then by golly, protect it and do the right steps. All right. Make sure that you are controlling the intellectual property. That is the only thing that gives you any leverage. It's the only thing that allows you to pull it back from a licensee because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing according to the terms of the contract. It is the only thing that allows you to license it to someone else. Protect your intellectual property. Protect your child. All right. Go out there with the idea that, yes, it's got to grow up and learn to stand on its own. It's just like a child. It's got to go out and get its own job eventually and earn an income. Well, you're hoping that your invention will too. But unless you give it all the right tools and the right protection and the right opportunities, it's never going to grow up. It's never going to get to the point of, paying for itself. All right. Standing on its own 2 feet. You cannot afford to take risks. Just like you wouldn't leave a child in a locked hot car. All right. You're not going to go out there and try to license something that you haven't protected with a good provisional patent application. All right. So once you've got the provisional patent application filed and you're going to a trade show, again, you cannot ask everybody at a trade show to file a non-disclosure non-compete. They're going to think you're crazy. Big companies aren't going to sign them. They're going to think you're crazy. They're going to say, you need to get a different attorney because the one you have obviously doesn't feel good about the work he did if he's telling you to still get a non-disclosure done. So we want to make sure that that provisional patent application is nice and neat and is going to protect us when we go out looking for the licensees. Even if you're not looking for a licensee, if you're just going to go out and start manufacturing and get things lined up on your own and look for sales, what are you going to do? Stick a non-disclosure non-compete in every box and expect them to sign it and send it back to you? Don't be silly. All right. That provisional patent application has got to be enough to protect you. If you end up having your patent infringed on after the utility issues, you can't go after infringement until you actually have the patent. All right. But at least give it a fighting chance. At least give yourself all the tools that you need to have a fighting chance to protect that child. All right. I do understand that your invention is like your child. All right. But just like being a good parent means you give it all the tools to grow up, you've got to give your invention all the right tools to be productive. My name is Rita Crompton, and I am happy to answer your questions, to help you out, get you teed up for licensing, and make sure you take the right steps. Protect yourself, protect your idea, and help it grow up the right way. Have a great holiday weekend.